The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows through the dense forest surrounding Mountain View Camp. The air was thick with anticipation as a group of eager campers gathered around a crackling campfire. Their faces illuminated by the flickering flames, they leaned in closer as their counselor, Ashley, began to tell a chilling tale. "Have you ever heard about the legend of the Mountain View Camp?" Ashley's voice quivered as she spoke. "They say this place is haunted." The campers exchanged nervous glances and some shifted uncomfortably on the log they shared. Sarah continued, her eyes filled with mystery. "Long ago, before this camp was built, there was a small village in these woods. The villagers lived in harmony with nature, but they had a secret they kept hidden from the outsiders. Deep in the heart of the forest, they worshipped a powerful entity known as the Forest Guardian. They offered its sacrifices in exchange for protection and prosperity." Ashley's words hung heavy in the night air as the campers listened intently. She paused, stoking the fire with a stick before resuming her story. One fateful summer, a group of outsiders stumbled upon the village. They were lost and hungry, seeking shelter and food. The villagers welcomed them with open arms, unaware that these outsiders had dark intentions. These outsiders betrayed the villagers, revealing the secret of the Forest Guardian. They sought to harness its power for themselves. In a horrifying ritual, they sacrificed one of their own to the entity, invoking its wrath. A shiver ran down the campers' spines as they imagined the gruesome scene. Ashley's voice dropped to a hushed whisper. The Forest Guardian was furious. It unleashed its wrath upon the village, causing the trees to come alive in exact revenge. The outsiders were never seen again, and the village was swallowed by the forest, never to be found. The campers gasped, their imaginations running wild. Ashley leaned in closer, her eyes locking onto theirs. Legend has it that the spirits of the villagers and the Forest Guardian still haunt these woods. They say you can hear the whispers of the lost souls on quiet nights like this, and some campers even claim to have seen strange apparitions in the forest. A camper named Alan couldn't contain his skepticism any longer. "Come on, Ashley. It's just a legend. There's no such thing as ghosts." Ashley smiled knowingly. That's what they thought too, right before the outsiders arrived. But ever since that night, campers who ventured too deep into the woods at night have reported strange encounters. Just then, a distant eerie sound pierced through the air. It was a faint whisper, like the rustling of the leaves, but the campers couldn't pinpoint its source. Ashley's face paled. "Did you hear that?" she asked, her voice trembling. The campers exchanged fearful glances as the whispering grew louder and closer, like an unseen presence drawing near. Ashley grabbed a flashlight and stood up. We should go back to the cabins," she suggested, her voice trembling. The campers wasted no time in following her lead, leaving the dwindling campfire behind. As they made their way through the darkened forest, the whispers continued to pursue them, growing more insistent with each step. Suddenly, Alan felt something brush against his leg. He shone his flashlight down and gasped in horror. It was a hand, reaching up from the ground, skeletal fingers grasping at his ankle. Before he could react, more ghostly hands emerged from the forest floor, clawing at his legs. "Help! Help!" Alan screamed, struggling to break free. The other campers rushed to his aid, pulling him away from the grasping hands. Panic and terror filled their eyes as the whispering grew deafening, surrounding them from all sides. With Ashley's guidance, they finally reached the safety of the camp cabins. Slamming the doors shut behind them, they huddled together, breathless and shaken. "I told you," Ashley said, her voice quivering. "The legend is real. The spirits of Mountain View Camp are still here, and they don't take kindly to outsiders." As the campers listened to the haunting whispers outside, they knew that this would be the night they would never forget. Mountain View Camp held secrets and horrors that were all too real, and they had just experienced a taste of its terrifying legacy.
Tyler, always drawn to the mysterious and unexplained, convinced his friends Mike, Sarah, and Jake to join him on an adventure to the infamous abandoned cabin in Pinehurst Forest. The legend spoke of dark rituals, disappearances, and an eerie presence. Despite warnings, they pack their gear and venture it into the woods. As they approached, the cabin's decaying façade loomed. The unsettling atmosphere heightened Tyler's excitement. They set up camp nearby and shared ghost stories around a campfire. Jake, however, was distracted by faint whispers and music from the cabin. "Probably just the wind," Tyler reassured him. As night fell, an eerie silence gripped the camp, and the fire dwindled. The whispers grew louder, an eerie melody drawing them toward the cabin. Jake hesitated for a moment before finally admitting, "I keep hearing something coming from that cabin, like whispers or faint music. It's probably just the wind, but it's giving me the creeps." Tyler chuckled, dismissing his friend's unease. "Come on, Jake, you're not getting spooked by some old cabin, are you? We're here for an adventure, remember?" Jake reluctantly nodded, but Tyler couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Ignoring his unease, they continued their storytelling late into the night, their laughter and banter echoing through the woods. As the clock neared midnight, a sudden, bone-chilling silence descended upon the camp. The fire, which had burned brightly moments before, now flickered weakly, casting long, dancing shadows that seemed to beckon them towards the cabin. Tyler's heart pounded in his chest as he looked at his friends, all of whom wore expressions of dread. The whispering sounds Jake had heard earlier had grown louder, evolving into an eerie melody that resonated in their ears. "Maybe we should check it out," Sarah suggested, her voice trembling. Tyler hesitated for a moment, torn between his fascination with the supernatural and his concern for his friends. Ultimately, his curiosity won out, and he grabbed a flashlight. "All right, but we stick together. No one goes in alone." The group approached the cabin cautiously, their flashlights cutting through the thick darkness. The front door hung ajar, creaking gently in the wind. Tyler pushed it open slowly, revealing a dilapidated interior bathed in an eerie bluish light. Inside, the cabin was frozen in time, as if the past had refused to release its grip. Dust-covered furniture, rotting floorboards, and faded wallpaper told a story of abandonment and decay. But what truly sent shivers down their spines were the walls, covered in strange symbols and sigils, all drawn in what appeared to be dried blood. "This place is messed up," Mike muttered, his unease palpable. As they explored further, the whispers grew louder and the melody more haunting. It seemed to be coming from the basement. With trembling hands, Tyler pushed open the door to the basement stairs, revealing a descending darkness that seemed to swallow all sound. They descended slowly, their flashlights revealing disturbing scenes. The basement was filled with candles, casting a flickering light over the walls covered in more blood-drawn symbols. In the center of the room, a large ornate mirror hung, reflecting their frightened faces back at them. Tyler's heart sank as he realized that the mirror seemed to be the source of the music and the whispers. They tried to turn away from it, but an unseen force compelled them to gaze into its depths. Their reflections began to warp and distort, revealing horrifying visions of their deepest fears and regrets. Sarah screamed as she saw a grotesque version of herself reaching out from the mirror, but it was too late. The mirror had ensnared them all, pulling them into its dark, twisted realm. In that nightmarish place, Tyler and his friends would come face to face with the horrors of their own minds, forced to confront their darkest secrets and deepest fears. The cabin's sinister past and the malevolent force that dwelled within it had claimed them, and they would never escape its clutches. As the night wore on, the cabin in Pinehurst Forest would become another tragic chapter in the legends whispered by the locals, a place where the curious and the daring would venture but never return. Tyler's insatiable curiosity had led him to the ultimate horror, one from which there was no escape.